Okay, so we are live. It is 12:39. It's the 18th day of August 2024, and we're going to go through some of the true crime weekly stories. I want to get to a couple special stories, but we're going to do that, and hope everybody's having a good week. Hey, Miranda, how are you? Good to see you. Also, quick thing is, if anybody has any stories they want me to do, let me know. Put them in the comments or whatever. Or, hey, Gail, how are you? Good to see you. Um, Hope everybody's having a good day so far, good weekend. But getting back to what I was saying, if anybody has any stories they want me to do or look at, let me know. Um, Sounds like the Chipmunks. Um, but let me know in the comments or put them in the chat or whatever. Or having issues with my email too, so sorry about that. All right, so I'm gonna try to play an intro, and I'll be right back. Hope everybody's doing okay. Be right back. All right, so here we are. Um, it might rain in a little while here, so I'm going to try to get through this the best I can. Um, but like I said, if anybody has any stories that they feel like isn't getting a lot of, Olivia moves into a new place at the University of Michigan tomorrow. Is that your daughter? That's going to be a little, uh, you know, good, I guess. Um, Congratulations to that. I know as a parent, though, you worry about your kids whether they're home or not. She's a junior there. Oh, okay. That's pretty good. University of Michigan. You'll be getting your Michigan Wolverine shirts at some point. Anyways, that's another thing too. Probably going to be going over the. We usually do the yearly. Me and my son usually do the yearly football picks for the year. So I'll be doing that live pretty soon too. Hey, lighting the way home. Good to see you. I was just about to mention you here, but we'll be going through the picks here pretty soon. Just trying to coordinate when my son has time, when I have time to do the picks. But I won last year again, so pulled it out at the end. Anyways, pretty sure I'm going to pick Detroit and Kansas City, but we'll see. That's going to be coming up soon too. Lighting their way home did a fantastic job on the Mara Murray thing the other day. I'll probably try to get back into the Mara Murray thing at some point. It's just they just did a thing here. They just had a thing here up. I think it was in the State House up here in New Hampshire, complaining about all the unsolved homicides and crimes that have been committed in the state. And, I think it all fell on deaf ears. Little boy in Macomb County in Michigan who was unalive due to severe abuse. Stapled to a wall. No, I do have. I can do that one. Maybe I can look it up for later on in the live tonight. I do have some stuff that's pretty horrible coming up here. So I want to give, let's see, a quick triggering thing, because this live will probably be a little triggering here. Hopefully we don't have a shit show like we had a couple of days ago when I was trying to cover that escapee out of North Carolina. So first thing I want to do, I want to show this person here, because this is just batshit crazy here. This woman here. I don't know if anybody's seen this. Give me a second while I pull this up here. Apparently, this woman just went off and started driving through the neighborhood, crashing into cars, and she ended up injuring a neighbor. Let me see if I can find that. Hold on a second here. Let's see here. I had it earlier. There's a lot of cases going on right now. There's a lot of stuff. Let's see here. Give me a second here. Two seconds here. Anyways, I'll look for it. I'll play this one first. Hold on one second here. You'd think I'd be a little bit more prepared than this, but I want to play the capture of this guy here. Okay, so let's. All right, then we'll play this one here. All right, so let me share this here, and then we'll get back to this here. Hey, Mustang 1965, how are you? Hold on a second, I'm going to play this here, and then. So they finally caught this guy. Obviously, he was getting help. But I'll play this one first, and then we'll go over the arrest and stuff like that. But he was being transported from, was it Burley, North Carolina? He was being transported to the University of North Carolina campus for some medical care, and then he just basically took off from the van, and he was on a manhunt for three days. They were searching everywhere, but they finally caught him in Kannapolis, which is basically due north of Charlotte, I think. So this is that here.
Murderer who escaped custody has been caught in Kannapolis. Ramon Alston escaped from custody Tuesday morning while being taken into a hospital.
Hello, Barbara Hall. How are you? Good to see you. If I'm missing anybody, I'm sorry. Let me see. Where's Barbara Hall? It's good to see you, Barbara. I watched a live the other night with you and Arctic Fox, and of course, Southern Gala was great live. Kind of had to duck out towards the end of that because some of the cell service up here sucks. So, but it was great live. Just the awareness is important there in that case. We're all thinking about you for sure. All right, so let's get back to this here.
Hospital in Hillsborough to receive medical treatment. He somehow managed to get his leg restraints off and ran away. In 2018, Alston was sentenced to life in prison for a murder of a 1-year-old baby back in 2015. Alston was captured around 2 this morning at a hotel in Kannapolis and taken back to prison. He will be charged with felony escape from prison. Jacobia Crisp was arrested in Alamance County and charged.
I didn't know that you had, because I saw some of the images from inside of that convenience store that your son went into, and everything seemed to look fairly normal. I mean, he didn't look like, it was good to see that anyways, that at least they had some footage of that.
With felony aiding and abetting a fugitive.
All right, so that was that. We'll play this one here.
Ramon Alston had been on the run since Tuesday, and we know his run from the law ended overnight at a hotel in Kannapolis near Charlotte. That's a journey of more than 100 miles. Right now, let's go to Tamara Scott, who's outside the Orange County Sheriff's Office with the latest. Tamara?
Hey, good morning, John and Barbara. Yeah, this puts an end to the days-long.
Who's Chris? Who? Yeah, block anybody if you want that's causing a problem. Except for me, of course.
For Ramon Alston that we've been following this week, and we know that he was captured at a hotel just outside of Charlotte. This is a lot of moving details here, but take a look at this video that we've just obtained here. Video of his arrest at that hotel early this morning. Now, we're told it happened just before 2 o'clock. This is the hotel on Cloverleaf Parkway in Kannapolis. It was an operation that included FBI Charlotte SWAT agents, the Kannapolis police, and Charlotte and Mecklenburg police as well. Now, he was taken into custody without injuries to anyone. Now, there was another person who was arrested in connection with this, a female acquaintance. Jacobia Crisp was arrested in Alamance County and charged with felony aiding and abetting.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys see anybody that's, he tries to chat with women on Discord. Yeah, if he finds his way in here, you can chuck him. It's just, I'm in a weird mood tonight. Sorry, guys.
A fugitive. Now, we did get a chance to speak with one of the employees at the hotel. Take a listen.
I seen him and her, interacting and, leaving, coming back in and stuff like that. And, I just, like with every guest, I just smile, say hello, and just have small talk. And then that was it.
And they checked out, you said Thursday.
Yes.
And do you know where they were arrested this morning?
I don't think they were arrested here on property. I think they found them down somewhere else. But there was police here around 3 o'clock today and was going through everything.
Now, this is a search that it spans several counties at this point. Last night, even our I team was tipped off that there was a police presence at a family home of Ramon's just outside of Chapel Hill, where there was many police cars there as well. So this is something that we will continue to follow as we learn more about what exactly led up to this capture early this morning. But for now, I'll send it back to you, John and Barbara.
All right, Tamara, thank you. And now we focus on the next step, the investigation.
How Alston managed to escape. Jamise Price live at the hospital where it all started. Jamise, we know he got help.
Yeah, I was kind of 50-50 on the help thing with this guy here. It's does anybody know who he is? This Chris guy?
And that's right, John. We know that there was some type of accomplice in this case, and investigators are working to find out if there were any additional accomplices. They're also trying to find out if Alston committed any crime.
Quick thing. Is the sound okay? Chris Owens is all I know. Okay. I'll keep an eye out.
Times while he was on the run, and they are tracing all of his movements since escaping the Department of Corrections custody here at UNC Hillsborough Hospital on Tuesday. So we know he was brought here for what should have been a doctor's appointment. So Department.
Thank you, Mustang. It's good to see you in here. It's Honeybee. Hey, Honeybee, how are you? Good to see you. Honeybee has a great channel. Go check out her channel. I'll see if I can find. Yeah, I don't understand trolling. I never did, but I wonder if some of these guys, some of these people that troll get paid to troll. I've always thought that.
Department of Corrections telling us that he has been here before and he was coming up for a follow-up appointment.
I mean, if I don't like a chat, I'll just leave. You know, I've had run-ins with people in chats though, because when people start attacking you, you know, it's like, and you know, the host doesn't do anything. It's like, I mean, I know I can just block the person, but I'm a Libra, so unless it's like an attack, you know, then I'll start kind of sticking up for myself. But there's no need for that. It's just ridiculous.
Also checked in to determine the connection between the hospital and the Department of Corrections. They said that they have a hospital on their campus as.
Uh-oh. Okay. I think my computer just froze again. Hold on a second. No, my mouse is gone. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. No, I had to jump out of here and come back in because my computer froze again. Sorry. Hold on a second. Let me apologize for that. I'm still working with this piece of crap computer here. Let's go back to this here.
Who's outside the Orange County Sheriff's Office with the latest. Tamara?
Hey, good morning, John and Barbara. Yeah, this puts an end to the days-long search for Ramon Alston that we've been following this week. And we know
I did break down and get a new computer. It's just not here yet. So, hey, Dean Johnson, how are you? Sorry about that, guys. I had to jump out the whole system and come back in. And so, yeah.
he was captured at a hotel just outside of Charlotte. This is a lot of moving details here, but take a look at this video that we've just obtained here. Video just at that hotel early this morning. Now we're told it happened just before 2 o'clock. This is the hotel on Cloverleaf Parkway in Kannapolis. It was an operation that included FBI Charlotte SWAT agents, the Kannapolis Police, and Charlotte Mecklenburg Police as well. Now he was taken into custody without injuries to anyone. There was another person who was arrested in connection with this. A female acquaintance, Jacobia Crisp, was arrested in Alamance County and charged with felony aiding and abetting a fugitive. Now we did get a chance to speak.
Hey, Karen Lee, how are you? Good to see you. I wanted to go over this first because this was important here with this guy. He was fairly dangerous, but they got him. So,
with one of the employees at the hotel. Take a listen.
I seen him at that, and I just like with every guest, I just smile, say hello, and just have small talk, and then that was it.
And they checked out, you said Thursday.
Yes.
And do you know where they were arrested this morning?
I don't think they were arrested here on property. I think they found them down somewhere else. But there was police here around 3 o'clock today and was going through everything.
Now, this is a search that had spanned several counties at this point. Last night, even our I team was tipped off that there was a police presence at a family home of Ramon's just out.
I think she is from Vermont. Can be wrong with that, but I think this, what is her name? Jacobia Crisp. I think she's actually from Vermont. Not sure.
Side of Chapel Hill, where there was many police cars there as well. So this is something that we will continue to follow as we learn more about what exactly led up to this capture early this morning. But for now, I'll send it back to you, John and Barbara.
All right, Tamara, thank you. And now we focus on the next step of the investigation.
How Austin managed to escape. Jamise Price live at the hospital where it all started. Jamise, we know he got help.
And that's right, John. We know that there was some type of accomplice in this case, and investigators are working to find out if Austin committed any crimes while he was on the run, and they are tracing all of his movements since escaping the Department of Corrections custody here at UNC Hillsborough Hospital on Tuesday. So we know he was brought here for what should have been a doctor's appointment.
Karen Lee's awesome. She was right on top of this. I wanted to get out the fact that he was on the run for, right away, because these guys can be, pretty dangerous. And if you live anywhere in the North Carolina area, it's probably a good idea to know about this stuff.
And so Department of Corrections telling us that he has been here before and he was coming up for a follow-up appointment. We also checked in to determine the connection between the hospital and the Department of Corrections. They said that they have a hospital on their campus as well, their central campus, but some procedures must be transporting Ramon Alston. We checked in on that. They are still on duty, according to the Department of Corrections, and they have no indication that those officers did anything improper. So Alston had been serving out his life sentence at a medium custody facility. We are learning this morning that he will continue to serve out that life sentence, but now at a high security facility. And
Seems like he was heading for Charlotte, but that's just me. I think he was trying to get out of North Carolina as soon as possible so that he wasn't caught, but they got him. That's the important thing. All right, let's get back into the good news. They got him. That's all that matters. All right, let me switch to something else here. All right, so I guess I can do this one here while I'm trying to pull up the other one that I wanted to play. So this is Ellen Greenberg's unaliving should be ruled as a H. Ellen Greenberg was found unalive in 2011 with 20 knife wounds, but her unaliving was ruled a suicide. Criminologist Debbie Goodman discusses why Greenberg's 20 wounds are more consistent with an H instead of an S. So let's play this one here while I look for the one that I wanted to play here. Let me share this. Hold on a second. He's in Granville Prison. I'm telling you, these guys need to be, they need to have these bracelets on them because, it's 2024 and this stuff is still happening. It's at least one every year. So it's just weird. All right, let's play this here. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this Ellen Greenberg case, but she, it's almost impossible for this to be a S. It has to be a homicide. It's just, you don't do this to yourself. Not that I'm aware of. I don't know how they could have ruled this a S, but here we go.
Suspect. And the Pennsylvania Supreme Court recently ruled that Ellen's parents can challenge that suicide ruling. Joining us now to break down this case, criminologist Dr. Debbie Goodman. Dr. Goodman, really looking forward to your insights on.
All right, Karen, see you later. Thank you. Tell Manimal I said hi. Happy birthday to Manimal. Hey, Heather, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate it. Hopefully we don't have any more shit shows here. All right, let's get back to this here. Heather's in the house.
This one, does it make sense to you that 20 stab wounds would initially be ruled a homicide and then switched to a suicide?
Good afternoon, Kelly. Always a pleasure to join you. Does it make sense to me? It absolutely does not. And we can start the conversation, of course, with data analytics and what we know. What we know that the last 3 to 5 calendar years.
This is going to be graphic here a little bit, but this is the amount of times this person here was, wounded here. I don't know. This does not look like an S to me.
Suicide has been on the uptick, according to our CDC, our Center for Disease Control, and WHO, World Health Organization. And we also know, Kelly, that there are circumstances that would point to when a female commits.
Hello, Farq. How are you? Good to see you. Farq is here. Yeah, right, honeybee. That's terrible. How they ruled this an S is beyond, but it's possible, I guess. I don't know. 20 times. 20 times. Not just 2, but 20 times.
Suicide, we're usually looking at a hanging, a strangulation, drowning, drug overdose. For men who commit suicide, the circumstance involves a gunshot, a knife wound. And then the distinction, of course, between suicide and homicide: suicide, the self-inflicted death; homicide, the unlawful death by another. And so when we just look at the 20 stab wounds, Kelly, that in and of itself is overkill, and it is extremely inconsistent with the category of suicide and much more consistent with the category of homicide.
So, Dr. Commonwealth Court there criticized how Philadelphia authorities handled this investigation, calling it deeply flawed. From your perspective, are there red flags and flaws with how this investigation was initially conducted?
So when these investigations are conducted, Kelly, any type of death, it has to involve policy, procedure, protocol. There must be elements in place that are followed, and nothing can just be quickly determined. That's why we have our experts. We have the detectives, the investigators, the crime scene analysts who together will look in totality and in its entirety of a lot of different elements. Of course, the crime scene itself, but to include, and very importantly so, with whom does this victim interact, and particularly family members, the close, intimate relations of a fiance, co-workers, friendship would again tell the story. That's what has to happen, Kelly. Sadly, victims who are decedents, they can't tell the story, but that's why we need the experts who can piece all of the facts together and make an accurate decision.
Yeah, let's talk about that storyline for just a moment. So investigators on the scene, they treated her death as a suicide because that apartment door, which Goldberg said he broke down, was locked from the inside. There were no signs of an intruder. Greenberg had no defensive wounds. What do you make of those facts and then the storyline we've been presented in this case?
Right. Well, also, it's very unusual to me that an investigation would be conducted and a conclusion. So remember that it goes to the ME for analysis, and the ME's office originally said that it was a homicide, and yet that gets changed to a suicide. So something here simply just doesn't look right, sound right, feel right. And remember, anybody can say anything, meaning just when you had the security officer on, he said the story that Sam tells is quite different than what he remembers. So I'm in agreement that this case has to be reopened, re-examined, reviewed, and hopefully an accurate decision will come.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased.
Okay, so that's that. That's going to be probably reclassified fairly soon. I mean, it's just ridiculous to think that was an S and not a homicide. No, she didn't answer the question at all. But they'll reclassify that again, probably. If not, I'd sue. I mean, it's definitely. All right, what I'm trying to find is what I wanted to play earlier, but what the hell? I'm not going to do that until I can find it, obviously. So what I want to do is go here, back up here. Hold on a second, because this is pretty interesting here. I'm just being very careful with my computer right now because I don't want to. Let's go to Alex Murdaugh here, and then all right, so Alex Murdaugh's back in the news again. So I wanted to run by y'all what you think if I started a channel called Wicked Wisconsin. Yes, I think that's awesome. I think that would be great. I'd promote it for sure. Absolutely. Just let me know because I'll subscribe almost immediately. Okay, so Alex Murdaugh's back in the news again. And it's looking like he's probably going to get another trial here. This was done 2 days ago. So if nobody's familiar with the Alex Murdaugh case, we've done this already, like 7 weeks of trial, and now it's probably going to be redone. South Carolina attorney convicted of unaliving Alex Murdaugh has a chance of a retrial thanks to a new ruling. We all know that he was convicted of unaliving his wife Maggie and son Paul. This guy Paul, though, was not a good dude. All right, so let's play this. This is from Sidebar. This guy's pretty good here.
Cannot be understated. They have helped this show get the exposure, get the message out there. Thank you so much. Savannah Williamson, not only one of the kindest people I have ever met, my collaborator, our executive producer. She and I write, research, brainstorm these stories together. She is an amazing.
You know, I'm the type of guy that if you get a channel, like I've been watching a lot of Lighting Their Way Home. She's fantastic. We all know Southern Gal's great. Honeybee is fantastic. I was actually Catch Alive with Frankie on the Think Tank. She's really good. Any way we can get some of these cases that not a lot of people talk about out there, just great. You know, even reliving things like I've done 4 or 5 different lives on, the Mara Murray case too. You know, it seems like people forget about these cases, and it's always good to revisit those because they're still not solved, after 20 years or so. So it's always good. If Heather Brown wants to start a channel, I'm all for it. All right, let's.
Amazing partner. Michael Deiniger, our main editor, such a talent, such a hard worker, go-to person, always delivers an outstanding work product, packaging the look and feel of this show, putting it all together. That's all Mikey. And speaking of that, Christina Falcone, Logan Harris, Daniel Camacho, there are other spectacular editors as well. They not only work doing that, thank you for jumping in a pinch at times, because this is this would be possible. Their leadership, their guidance has allowed us to succeed, and particularly Dan. Dan's vision for the company. It's like I just won an Oscar. I think they would have kicked me off stage by now. But anyway, had to thank everybody. 1,000 down, 1,000 more to go. Back to Alec Murdaugh. So here's the big news. The South Carolina Supreme Court has just agreed to hear a major issue that could in fact result in the retrial of the convicted killer. The man who was found guilty of murdering his wife Maggie and son Paul back on their family property back in 2021, shot them to death. The motive was that he killed his family to distract away from all of his financial crimes, namely stealing money from his law firm and clients.
This guy is such a piece of dog shit. He just really is. And we're going to have to go through another trial with this guy here. And, it's just sad because it should have just been left alone. You just can't stop people sometimes from being idiots. It almost makes you angry. This guy's going to get another trial.
Clients, particularly to fuel his drug addiction, and as a way to prevent being found out and buy himself time, he killed his family. Hey, by the way, for our 1,000th episode, let me also call out our incredible sponsors. Thank you so much for your support. And that includes, by the way, Blue Land. So did you know that laundry detergent pods, and they argued that Hill had a book deal and she had an incentive to make sure Murdaugh was convicted. In fact, there was an accusation that she allowed a picture of Murdaugh to be taken of him in a holding cell as a way to promote her book. And one of the more...
This woman here is just, you just can't help but laugh. There's always a clown, good Lord. Just when you thought this was over. Ugh.
Alarming allegations was that Hill intentionally got one juror booted from the jury after she allegedly told Hill she had questions about whether Alec Murdaugh was actually guilty. And the defense alleged that Hill fabricated a Facebook post authored by the juror's ex-husband, a post that said he talked to the juror, his ex-wife, about the case. Defense says the ex-husband never posted it. But again, the juror was dismissed nonetheless. And the defense said that they spoke to several jurors, and there were issues, like Hill allegedly telling the jurors not to believe Alec Murdaugh's testimony. So what happened? A hearing was held to determine what is going on and whether Alec Murdaugh should be entitled to a new trial based on what Hill allegedly did. Did she improperly taint and influence this jury? I'll give you an example of what happened. Listen to what one juror said during this hearing.
Did you hear Ms. Becky Hill make any comment about this case before your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
If yes, what did Ms. Hill say?
To watch his actions.
To watch his actions. What else?
To watch him closely.
To watch him closely. Was your verdict?
First of all, Gail, I don't think you're too old. I mean, I'm 100 and I'm doing this. Yeah, I think you could start a channel too, for sure. Doesn't take much. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
On March the 2nd, 2023, in any way, with any influenced in any way with any communications by the clerk of court, Becky Hill, in this case?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, please.
All right. Was your verdict influenced in any way by the communications of the clerk of court in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And how was it influenced?
To me, it felt like she made it seem like he was already guilty.
All right. And I understand that. That's the tenor of the remarks she made. Did that affect your finding of guilty in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
But ultimately, retired Justice Jean Toll didn't find the evidence was sufficient to warrant a new trial, that the verdict wasn't directly affected by what Hill did or did not do. And that didn't come, though, without some parting words and criticism from Ms. Hill.
Ms. Hill denies A, and so the question becomes, was her denial credible? I find that the clerk of court is not completely credible as a witness. Ms. Hill was attracted by the siren call of celebrity. She wanted to write a book about the trial and expressed that as early as November 2022, long before the trial began. She denies that this is so, but I find that she stated to the clerk of court, Rhonda McElveen, and others, her desire for a guilty verdict because it would sell books. She made comments about Murdoch's demeanor as he testified, and she made some.
Thank you, Heather.
Some of those comments before he testified to at least one and maybe more jurors. Did Clerk of Court Hill's comments have any impact on the verdict of the jury? I find that the answer to this question is no. Each member of this jury took their involuntary assignment very seriously. They obeyed the instructions of the court. They obeyed their oath. These good and decent citizens of Colleton County stood to their duty and rendered their verdict without fear or favor. I simply do not believe that the authority of our South Carolina Supreme Court requires a new trial in a very lengthy trial such as this on the strength of some fleeting and foolish comments by a publicity influenced clerk of court. This is a matter within the discretion of the trial judge, and I am the trial judge at this moment. I do not feel that I abuse my discretion when I find the defendant's motion for a new trial on the factual record before me must be denied, and it is so ordered.
Hill, by the way, now faces 76 misconduct allegations. She has resigned from her position, and the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division has opened up a probe into whether Hill used her office, her role, for personal gain. But now, the South Carolina Supreme Court has agreed to hear this case, this jury tampering issue, and they will now hear argument.
So this is the issue with this. The South Carolina Supreme Court now has taken this up. So that's telling me that they're probably gonna reverse her. This other judge is it's just, you know, not saying that's possibly going to happen, you know, positively going to happen, but that they probably wouldn't take it up if that was the case. It's just my opinion. They're probably going to reverse her decision.
It's about whether it was improper for Justice Toll to deny a new trial based on these jury tampering allegations. Very, very big win for the defense. Why did the court agree to this? Could this work? Could we see Alec Murdaugh 2.0? Well, with that, I had a chance to sit down and chat with Joe McCullough, an attorney who represents two of the jurors in Alec Murdaugh's trial. If you had been following our coverage, you know who Joe is. Let's see what he had to say. Well, good to see you, sir. Thanks so much for coming on.
Great to be here.
So what was your reaction, and why do you think the South Carolina Supreme Court agreed to hear this appeal? What was your reaction? Why do you think they decided to do it?
Well, it's a really good question, and there are lawyers all over South Carolina killing pigeons and reading the intros, because there are a few things very significant about this action by the Supreme Court. There is the appeal.
Let me know if the sound is okay, because I'm on a pretty shitty computer. I mean, it sounds good to me, but that's because I'm here. But if the sound's good, I'll take off the closed captions.
Appeal of the murder case, which is separate and apart from this new trial motion appeal. The defense moved for the Court of Appeals, or for the Supreme Court rather, to take it, and that's not. It's rarely done, I would say, except in matters of extreme significance. But this court, as of last week, is now, I won't say run, but presided over by a new Chief Justice. The new Chief Justice is a gentleman named John Kittredge, a wonderful man and jurist, who also happened to write the opinion in State versus Green, which is what this whole new trial motion revolves around. And of course, the defense's position in their motion, in this motion.
Yeah, my advice on that, Honeybee, is if you're going to get unalived, walk over to another state, because, yeah, Indiana is terrible. And I can kind of see why.
For this court, this Supreme Court, to evaluate the new trial proceedings.
But we have a pretty horrible rate here too in New Hampshire. They just held a vigil trying to get some of these cold cases solved here in New Hampshire, because there's a lot of them. They were just up in Concord trying to protest about that. So, and I agree with them. All right, so back to this.
They take the position that the judge who presided over that, Justice Toll, former Supreme Court justice, that she misread State versus Green, written by the Chief Justice, who was a part of this decision to take this case.
Like I said, if you have a channel, feel free to post it in here. It would take me forever to find a channel and then post it. So if you guys got a channel, or anybody that's got a channel, feel free to post it in here.
Case and hear it themselves immediately.
So summarize for our viewers what State versus Green means, and if the fact that they're taking it up means, I think a fair interpretation is, Justice Toll, you might have misinterpreted it. Now it's time for us to set the record straight.
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether
Justice State versus Green, and then you can give me your.
Well, the simple explanation, I guess, of a not terribly complex situation is when allegations of any type of communication occurring between court staff or any person outside of the jury itself, any communications that could potentially interfere with the jury's objectivity and deliberations, that's something the courts must look into immediately. There's nothing more sacrosanct in our system than a pure jury. So the United States Supreme Court, in a case called Rimmer versus the United States, said that in these cases where you are able to validate to some degree that there are miscommunications, improper communications, that the presumption arises that these communications have tainted the jury irretrievably.
Right.
And that presumption was that standard established by the United States Supreme Court is the subject of State versus Green, which is a case in which a bailiff communicated with the jury on some sidebar issues that had nothing to do with guilt or innocence, but a little more than how's the weather.
I'm telling you, that's how a lot of these people get away with this stuff. Is they just, they get these things that technicalities, and it's horrible. This guy's a horrible person, and it just sucks. All right, so I want to do this here because I finally found this. I don't know if you guys have seen this yet, but this woman's absolutely crazy. She decided one day that she was just going to go out and start running into people's cars here. So I'm going to play this one here. This happened
We begin tonight with
2
that
days
wild
ago here. I think this is in Michigan. I'm not sure. Westland. 43-year-old Westland woman is facing multiple charges, accused of intentionally hitting multiple vehicles and injuring a 32-year-old man who was just in his driveway. And it's just, people have seen this. This is, he'll probably never walk again, too. It's just sad. So let's go ahead. This happened a few days ago.
scene in a Westland neighborhood that people are still talking about. Police say a woman intentionally plowed into cars, injuring a man. Thank you so much for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Mike Duffy. We're learning that woman could face a judge as soon as tomorrow. Police believe that the suspect had been drinking and doing drugs when it all unfolded.
Check this out. She just got in her SUV and started smashing into neighbors' cars. It's just horrible. You can't make this stuff up.
In a usually quiet neighborhood. Now, in one of those crashes, she went after a man and his wife who were in their garage.
Tonight, the wife of that man who was severely injured is opening up to 7 News Detroit reporter Kimberly Craig about the stranger who made them a target.
This is not the story Haley Vinsko ever wanted to tell, but she said it's important that people hear from her just how a complete stranger tried to kill her and her husband. That stranger first ramming into a neighbor's car across the street and then peeling forward, heading straight for Haley and Luke as they stood in their driveway, pinning Luke under a car.
She admitted to wanting to murder us and send us to God.
The woman who was on a rampage with her SUV slammed into the Vinsko's vehicle's.
I'm sorry for laughing, but what do you do? And this guy was just getting out of his car, I think, and he got pinned underneath the car. It's just
Twice, pinning Haley's husband Luke under one of the cars.
She hit them again and were screaming, like, what are you doing?
And when I tried to reach into her car to turn her car off, she laughed in my face.
People living in the area of Wildwood and Florence were in shock. Ahmad Allen grabbing this cell phone video of some of the rampage. Police say the woman was intentionally crashing into cars and then aiming for Luke and Haley. They had just returned home from their first date night since giving birth to twin boys.
It was horrific. Just a man being in his garage, and they didn't know the lady. I believe that she used to live there and she was looking for somebody that she used to date.
Sadly, Luke's injury so severe, doctors had to amputate a large part of his right leg.
that just freaking sucks. Like new father, new family. Now he's got no leg. It's just
Change everything. My husband doesn't have his right leg. His left foot is broken. He's going to have to learn to walk again.
Haley and her family wonder if this could have been prevented because they later learned that police had been notified of the woman causing an earlier disturbance in the area. Police say their officer had to respond to something more urgent, but they're looking into how it was all handled.
It's infuriating that they could have prevented all of this from happening.
The woman expected to be in court tomorrow.
I think she knows exactly what she was doing. I think she found humor and enjoyment in it.
As Luke remains in ICU, a close family friend has started to raise money online to help with expenses, as it'll be a long road ahead for him and his young family.
him and I have always been a team, and we always will be. And we know as long as we have each other, we'll figure it out.
In Westland, Kimberly Craig, 7 News, Detroit.
So there's that. And she just, hold on, I'm going to play this one here because she's already been in court. So let's play this one here.
We begin with a truly frightening situation in Westland. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Hillary Golston. A witness tells Fox 2 a driver smashed into multiple parked cars, including his own. We're going live now to Fox 2's Camille Amiri, who has this pretty incredible video. Camille, what can you tell us about the investigation thus far?
Yeah, well, you can see behind me, the investigation's still going on right now.
I think she was, obviously she was, she had some mental issues, but I think she was jealous of one of the people that used to live there before the new people moved in. The guy that got hurt was a boyfriend or something at one time, and she was jealous or something. I mean, I don't know. It's really weird.
Reconstruction teams out here, police still out here, crime scene tape out here. This happened on Wildwood in Westland, probably around 7:15, 7:30. Now take a look at this video that you were talking about. I know, Hillary, you've gotten a chance to see it. This is from the witness who saw a portion of what.
Have a good night, Honeybee. Good to see you. Don't forget to check out Honeybee's channel. She's freaking great. She just does really, really great work, especially on the Flora case. She's just awesome. Have a good weekend, Honeybee.
What she was doing, pulling in, backing up, crashing into cars. You can hear the screeching right now. Crashed into his car on the street. We also talked to several other witnesses who also saw this, who called 911. In all of this, while she was crashing into the cars, she apparently hit a man and pinned him partially under his own car. His legs actually went underneath his car, the red car that you see in this video. We talked to a witness who did.
This is just absolutely insane. This is crazy. This is nightmarish. Like you have nightmares about this stuff, and when it happens, wow.
Want to go on camera earlier tonight, but said that she actually stayed with him until 911 came. I mean, she actually stayed with him.
Whoops! I want to show. I mean, look at this car. Hold on a second. Yeah.
Didn't want to go on camera earlier tonight, but
look at this car in the garage. Right. This car is kind of diagonal. I'm pretty sure he didn't park like this. So she had the force to just push this car diagonal in the garage.
Said that she actually stayed with him until 911 came. I mean, the emergency crews came while his wife called 911. She said his legs were badly injured, but he was able to talk about his two little boys, twins, 2 months.
You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate all you guys coming in here. I have the best chatters for sure.
Old. This was going to be the first time that he was going to go out to dinner with his wife, and the twins were going to be babysat by a family member. We also talked to the man who lives next door to them, whose car was crashed into, who videotaped this. Take a listen.
I was inside the house and I sort of heard a loud bang. Went outside, heard some people screaming, and I saw the lady in the red car over there, and then she just sort of started slamming into other cars as hard as she could. Came back and hit my car. I don't even know the lady. Neither of the neighbors know her. It was a random act of violence, honestly.
So the woman, her car was disabled. The airbags went off once she backed into these cars.
The squealing of the tires gets me all the time. It's just, my God. She was intent upon causing some serious harm. I mean, she was nuts, crazy.
Again, so she had to wait. I guess neighbors were actually telling me that they kind of stood around her car until police got here and took her into custody. They were saying that she was laughing at the time, that she may have been suffering some sort of mental breakdown. Neighbors are also saying that old boyfriend lived here at this house a long time ago, but no longer lives here at this house with it. She was targeting where she actually hit the guy in his legs, badly injured. So a lot to unpack on this story, but we will continue to follow it and update you as soon as we get more information. Reporting live in Westland, Camille and Mary, Fox 2 News.
Yeah, and Camille, that video really is shocking. I mean, it's hard to even look at because it appears that this person is driving into another vehicle on purpose. I mean, that's how it comes across in the video. Is there anyone else who could be responsible in this case besides the driver? Anyone who may have known what this person was up to before they went on this chaotic spree?
Well, we have heard that there was possibly a welfare check done on her because of her mental state earlier in the night. But those details by herself.
I mean, that probably looks like me when I haven't had my coffee yet. Like, it's just, people need medication, man. I don't know. This is strange.
We don't know
bizarre.
what happened leading up to this, but we know that she, like you said, you saw her back up and then crash back in, and it was full speed ahead. We talked to probably 15 or 20 people who witnessed this, who just happened to be outside in the area or hear something and come out. And they believe that had those airbags not gone off and had her car not been disabled because of the back and forth, that she may have continued to do this. So, obviously, a lot more to come on this. A horrible tragedy, pulling for that man who, like I said, a young father, his legs badly injured, but conscious until he got, while he was being loaded up into the ambulance.
All right, I want to show. Am I still on here? Yep. All right, hold on a second. I guess I'll show that later. I do want to play this though here because this is pretty important, and this might be a little disturbing here. But I want to play this because hold on a second here. It is almost school time again, and I actually just came across this earlier tonight, so I wanted to get this out there. So a young boy's run after a near kidnapping in Texas. And like I said, this might be a little disturbing. A Texas mother is speaking out after a near kidnapping of her children and their friends was caught on a home security camera. So now's a pretty good time if you have young kids or if you know young children to alert them of dangers because you'll see here. Here we go.
That's my ball. Hey, that's my ball. You lost it right there. I run back at 2:45 and she'll be hot. I don't want to.
Yeah, she had a long day. She did a really good job. Thank you, FARQ. Thank you so much for that triggering warning. This is very triggering. My wife, anyway, she had long day. She does the church dinners every year, and it's always a stressful time for her. But thank you for asking for her. She's probably watching. I wouldn't doubt it. Hopefully she's sleeping. But she does the church thing every year, and it was a big success this year. So for her, I think they sold like over 57 dinners or something like that. So that's good news.
Anyone crossing the big road? Oh my God! And I want you to all stay together. We're not allowed to do this. No. Brett, come on. No. Henry's inside. No. Brett, inside. I want to do this. Stop arguing with me. Come inside. Am I allowed to do it? No, you guys are staying inside. Why? Did you hear inside? You do it inside. No.
So you'll see soon. This takes a long time to develop here, but you'll see what happens here. That's why these Ring cameras, man, I can't tell you how important Ring cameras are. It's, you know, okay, see that car right there? That SUV right there? And there's that other truck right there. I want to replay that here. Hold on a second. See how slow they're driving here? And there's another truck that comes right behind. See how they're slowing down right here? And these kids are off camera here down the road a little bit. And then this guy parks, it looks like kind of parks right here. And then this other vehicle parks like right next to him. See how they're like parked right next to each other right here. So this is nefarious right there. You can tell.
Scarier because they were Mexican. Get your mom, get your mom, get your mom. Oh, someone's trying to kidnap us.
See, he's backing up here.
It came out my car. Asked me to come in. Someone's trying to kidnap Jay. What'd they ask? Oh my God. Jonathan, dang. Bro. Oh my God. Bro, he just tried to abduct us. Oh my God, get it. Get it.
It's always a white car. I don't know what it is. It's about white cars.
Get it, shit. I'm calling Dad. What happened? We got to get kidnapped.
It's just really scary, man. There's the two cars right there. This is from another Ring camera, I think. This kid right here is really smart. Both of these kids.
Gabe, it was even scarier because they were Mexican. Yay! Get your mom, get your mom, get your mom. Oh, someone's trying to kidnap us. It came out my car. Asked me to come in. Someone's trying to kidnap Jay. What'd they ask?
See that the black truck just took off. And there's another kid there.
There's oh my God. Jonathan, Ben! Wow!
Did you see that? That guy just gets out of the car and runs towards the house. And she was smart enough to get this guy on camera here.
Oh my God! Bro, he just tried to abduct us! Oh my God, get in! Get in! Holy shit, I'm calling Dad. What happened? We tried to get kidnapped.
And then he just takes off. He runs to the house, sees all the people there, and he takes off. So here's her talking about, this is the woman that was with the two kids that was
This morning, as kids across the country head back to school, a warning for parents everywhere.
I heard screaming and I thought, and I could hear commotion outside.
You see in this door camera video, first obtained by ABC affiliate WFAA, the moment apparent kidnappers
that kid right there is really lucky.
tried to take a group of 9-year-old boys. Gina Skolnick, the mother of two of the boys, telling us her kids were having a play date at her house when two vehicles pulled up near them. Her son Zachary sounding the alarm.
So we get onto the sidewalk and we try to skip past, and
This kid right here is a real hero, literally.
I hear the drivers telling my friends to get into their car.
The boys taking off, running and screaming.
I was the first one at the door screaming, someone's trying to kidnap us.
Moments later, you see someone in a white t-shirt and shorts get out of a white SUV running after her son John.
The thing is these thugs, these pieces of dog shits, go to work just like everybody else. The only difference is they're trying to kidnap your children. And they have plans. They have pretty elaborate schemes. This is how it happens, just not paying attention. But this is the time of the year, kids going back to school, kids start to get, a little bit, and they're gonna explain how to, talk to kids and stuff like that. Safe words, stuff like that.
Jonathan says the man was calling to him, trying to lure him into the SUV.
He said, there's a football player in the back of the car. And then he said, get in the back of the car. And I said, I'm sorry, I look like the strangers, and I ran away.
The suspect noticing Skolnick with a cell phone camera in her hand, leaving the scene, but not before she was able to get a picture of the license plate. And just miles away earlier that morning, another near kidnapping caught on camera. In this,
I'll play this one here too. But this girl was smart enough. You'll see.
security video, you see a teenage girl hiding behind a neighbor's car, trying to avoid being taken by a man. That car belongs to Shane Burke, who says the teenager came to his door for help.
She said that somebody that she didn't know had been following her, kind of gawking at her, staring at her, making her feel uncomfortable. She was extremely shook up.
Experts encouraging parents to talk to their kids about safety as a new school year begins.
Children should be very wary of strangers that are in a car approaching them. We know that the vast majority of attempted abductions and successful abductions use a vehicle. We know that the perpetrators are using the same lures, like asking for directions, looking for a lost puppy, or having candy. And so parents need to be talking to their children about identifying these risky situations.
When you're a parent, this is the stuff that just makes you not sleep well, because it's just, it's just aggravating that there's people like this out in the universe. But the best thing you could do is just, warn your kids, keep an eye on them. That many kids, just it's important to talk to them,
Situations and knowing how to avoid them.
The brothers with a message to other children.
Just great. We were very lucky, and
Let's hope they catch these guys. It's a good thing that they get this, license plate on camera here. And that other truck seems suspicious to me too. So let's try to play this other one. Hold on, let me go back.
I want everyone back together. That's my ball. Hey, that's my ball. The balls are right there. Everyone back at 2:45 and it'll be hot and going to swim. I don't want anyone crossing.
Update about a suspicious car in Richardson reportedly trailing a high school student.
What did I do? Ugh. Hold on a minute. I think I'm frozen again. Ugh. I'm back. Sorry again. Had to jump out again. Hold on a second. Right. So let me. Sorry about that. I had to jump out and beam me back in. It's freaking. It's terrible. It's just terrible. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is the other one. Let me play this again here. Sorry again. So this is another one. This happened in Texas too. This was 2 days ago. This one's a little different. But here you go.
About a suspicious car in Richardson reportedly trailer. You see the student on her way to school. She sees the car pass by her a few times before she hid behind a vehicle and sought help. Police say they found the driver of the black Toyota sedan who told them they were dropping off a relative at a nearby high school. Detectives say there was no direct communication with the student walking and that charges are not necessary. As for the case that happened the same day in North Dallas where a man jumped boy, police haven't said if they've found the driver in connection to that report. The boy is okay.
So bottom line is, you got to be careful this time of the year. because these people are everywhere. Unfortunately, you know. I wanted to play this though too. Hold on a second. Give me a second. I want to play this here. Okay, so we're going to go back again now to this crazy lady. She was in court, and this is her in court. So this is the one that drove her car into all these other cars, and she was in court the other day facing the charges.
We begin tonight with dramatic moments in a courtroom when a 43-year-old Westland woman was charged in Saturday's rampage with an SUV. Thank you so much for joining us for 7 News Detroit at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Mike Duffy. Now, that woman collapsing in court today after being arraigned for the rampage that landed one man in this hospital who had to have his leg amputated. We first brought you this story yesterday, showing the moments caught on camera of the woman crashing her car into several vehicles.
7 News Detroit reporter Kimberly Craig has been talking to police and the victim's wife, who was in court when the suspect laid on the floor, appearing to cry and saying she's sorry.
Haley Vinsko came to court today to see the woman accused of trying to kill her and her husband face a judge, but no one expected the dramatic moments that unfolded. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Okay. After being arraigned on multiple charges, including assault with intent to murder and operating while intoxicated, 43-year-old April Graves had to be picked up and taken out of the courtroom. But Saturday, police say this was Graves behind the wheel of this SUV on a rampage through a Westland neighborhood. Graves slammed into Luke Vinsko, pinning him under a vehicle. His wife, Haley, narrowly escaping. Luke's injury so severe, his right leg had to be amputated at the knee. And while the Vinskos do not know Graves, for some reason she appeared to target them.
I think she knows exactly what she was doing. I think she found humor in it.
This was driving.
Attorney Mercaitis went to detain Miss Graves and place her in handcuffs. However, once she eventually was able to do so, Miss Graves became dead weight and refused to walk.
It's funny because I ordered a new computer, but obviously it's not going to be here in time for my Sunday Live. But I did order one. But I was thinking about ordering a motherboard for the other one, but because
rear seat of the patrol vehicle.
About an hour before Graves allegedly started crashing into cars, police received several calls to 911 to report she was behaving erratically.
Callers calling back and stating the female is having some type of manic episode. A white female, blonde, white joggers, and a camel tank top. Stopping cars. Another caller stated she was laying in traffic, possibly trying to kill herself.
Your Honor, Ms. Graves is 43 years old. She does have ties to this community. She is living here with her husband. They do have one son. She is self-employed. She does not have any felonies on her record. She's an individual that suffers from some serious mental health issues.
Moments after the judge set bond for April Graves at $850,000, 10%, she appeared to become despondent.
April.
Haley Vinsko was in court to see the woman accused of trying to kill her and her husband. She wasn't up to talking, but she had this to say Monday.
just awful.
Of that. I'm a big advocate for mental health, and being the one that she was laughing in my face, I don't think that's what it was. And she deserves everything that's coming to her.
In Westland, Kimberly Craig, 7 News Detroit.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just you can't make this stuff up. You can't. You know, this this woman needs some serious help, and hopefully she gets it. You know, it's sad that somebody else had to, pay for that. But it's a crazy world, man. It is. All right, so we're going to go to this crack case in Arlington, Texas. I think it's Texas, anyways. This is the one that was solved, I think, in 1985. They used genetic genealogy. Arlington police said the FBI identified the man they say killed unalived Terry McAdams nearly 40 years ago. Police released the findings in a news conference attended by the victims' families on last Wednesday. So here's that press conference here. And I have, I think the write-up on that, but let's see here. Hold on. Yep.
Here with us today. My name is Detective Devin Cofer. First name spelled D-E-V-O-N. Last name C-O-F-F-E-R. I am a homicide detective with the Arlington Police Department.
I'm telling you, man, they just don't take mental health seriously. They just don't. We've made some strides, but mental health is a real problem. And I think there should be definitely more funding for mental health because it's getting worse. It's not getting any better. But they need to, start taking this stuff seriously because some people are really having a hard time, and stuff like this happens if you don't address it.
Homicide unit. I was assigned this case in January of this year. After I was briefed about this case,
so let me give you a write-up on this here. So police solved 1985 unaliving of Utah University of Texas Arlington student Terry McAdams. The unaliver is dead. Terry McAdams, 22-year-old UT Arlington student, was found unalived inside of her apartment on Valentine's Day, 1985. Long time ago, almost 40 years ago. Investigators struggled to find her unaliver, but no arrests were made, and the case went cold. On this past Wednesday, Arlington Police and FBI announced DNA testing of a relative confirmed to the unaliver's identity. The unaliver, Bernard Sharp, that's the guy's name, took his own life months after McAdams' unaliving, so he's gone. So in February 14th, 1985, her body was found in the apartment that the Arkansas native shared with her fiance, 2500 block on Walnut Hill Circle in Arlington. She had been brutally unalived and SA'd. So let's go back to this here.
started looking at all the reports, documents, and evidence associated with this case. I then started to communicate with FBI Special Agent Seth Webb, assisting me with this case. I'll start by giving you a little background regarding this case. On Valentine's Day.
It's Karen again. Hey, Karen, how are you? Good to see you. It's an old case. This is 1985. I think they initially thought it was the boyfriend. I'm not sure.
February 14th, 1985, at approximately 2:40 p.m., Arlington Police Department officers responded to an apartment complex in the 2500 block of Walnut Hill Circle. A maintenance worker found a 22-year-old Terry McAdams deceased inside of the apartment. She had been severely beaten. The medical examiner's office ruled that her cause of death was blunt force trauma. There was also evidence she was sexually assaulted. The apartment she was found in belonged to her fiance. He was out of town at the time on a business trip and was ruled out at the time as a suspect early on. We learned Terry's killer entered the apartment through a sliding glass door connected to a bedroom. As Chief mentioned, the employees who worked this case in 1985 was very thorough and collected a lot of physical evidence that would later prove and be vital to where we at today. In 2021, we sent several of those items off for forensic lab DNA testing. And from that testing, we were able to develop a profile for an unknown suspect. The profile was entered into a database system called CODIS, but unfortunately, there was no hits and no matches in that database system. So that's when we began.
It's Charlotte. Hey, Charlotte, how are you? Good to see you. Charlotte's awesome too. Good to see you, Charlotte.
Looking at other strategies that might be worth exploring. That's how we connected with the FBI investigating genealogy team in Dallas. We first met with them in August of last year, and they agreed to assist us with this case. And with their assistance, we were able to focus on one man named Bernard Sharp.
I can't tell you how impressed I am with law enforcement for keeping up on these cases, man. You know, just when people think that, you know, I know it's a long time, 40 years is a long time, but these guys never rest. They never stop investigating these things. And, you know, it's helpful to have some of the new technologies they have these days, but, you know, hats off to the law enforcement that keep these cases going. You know, it's just awesome.
I'll now turn it over to the FBI special agent in charge, Chad Yarbrough, to talk more about how genetic genealogy works and how they were able to assist us with this case.
All right, well, good afternoon, and thank you, Chief Jones and Detective Kofer, for allowing me to be here today. My name is Chad Yarbrough. I'm the special agent in charge of the Dallas FBI field office. It's an honor to be here to recognize the combined efforts of investigators and agencies who were bound and determined to bring justice for Miss McAdams and her family after almost 40 years. Investigative genetic genealogy has transformed law enforcement ability to solve crimes. IGG, as we call it, combines unidentified crime scene DNA with meticulous genealogy.
I remember I was watching another episode of, I think it was 48 Hours, because that's basically all I do at night is drive around and listen to 48 Hours and cold cases and stuff like that. But anyways, I remember the way back when they first, I forget her name. She's pretty much the forerunner of this whole genetic genealogy thing. Her name is it Connie? No, I forget her name now. It's escaping me. But anyways, back then the law enforcement communities weren't really all on board on that stuff. They called it crack science and all of that stuff, but it's become one of the most useful tools they have these days. But back, I think this was 1994, 1995. Colleen, what the hell is that? Colleen Fitzsimmons, something like that. But back then it was not looked upon as a good science. But nowadays, I mean, where the hell would we be without it? It's awesome.
Research and the use of historical public records to identify new leads for law enforcement agencies, typically cases that have been exhausted of all leads. The goal of using this approach is to bring violent criminals to justice and to identify unknown victims in hopes of giving their families closure. The process is tedious. Investigators construct family trees of persons identified as possible family members of the suspects and build leads based on the possible genetic relationships. It's important to note that the arrest.
So the name of the person, the victim, is Terry McAdams. I don't know why they don't have a big picture of her here. They never do. Maybe it's over here somewhere where the cameras can't see it, but that should be first and foremost, in my opinion, for them to have a picture of the victim somewhere, because it's what it's all about.
Not based on investigative genetic genealogy findings, but all arrests are based on independent criminal forensic DNA testing. FBI has formalized the IGG program in 2019 and has assisted in finding justice for hundreds of victims in dozens of states.
Did you put an ad out for that car? What kind of a car? I forgot to ask last week, Miranda, what kind of a car it was.
States. The program's overarching mission is to lead the law enforcement community in the development and proper utilization of.
Miranda's an awesome person. Miranda Lee. She's always in these chats. helping out, vigilant in these horrific cases. I'm actually surprised she doesn't have a channel of her own, but she's a great person. And we're always thinking about Miranda Lee for sure.
Of the IGG tool. In a DFW alone, we've solved close to a dozen cases.
Well, not always thinking, that'd be a little creepy, but we're thinking about you for sure.
Just in the past year and a half. Sexual assaults, homicides, and I'm so proud of the FBI team that's leading this charge. In Dallas, we have a dedicated team of special investigators who are specifically trained on the IGG technique. We work directly with our local law enforcement partners to assist in solving their...
Oh, you should be able to get rid of that car pretty quick. That's a good car. I had an Escape, Ford Escape. I got the 4-cylinder. I should have spent the extra for the 6-cylinder, because around here, a vehicle of that weight and that size, a 4-cylinder is absolutely useless. But yes, Karen is awesome too. Karen is great. Karen is she's multitasking probably tonight. She's probably doing Manimal's chat and here.
Most violent homicides and sexual assaults that have gone unsolved.
Manimal's an awesome guy too. I know I butt into his lives all the time with mine, but I don't think anybody cares. He's got like thousands of followers, so it's not like I'm doing any disservice. But he's got a great channel too.
As Detective Kofer mentioned, a lead developed through the IGG techniques led to the discovery of a primary suspect in this investigation. However, the suspect was deceased, and there was no specific DNA available for comparison. We did instead do DNA testing on collected samples from a close genetic relative of the suspect, and additional testing confirmed the suspect was indeed the killer. This month, lab results from the Center for Human Identification at the University of North Texas Health Science Center confirmed that DNA found at the homicide of Ms. McAdams belonged to Bernard Sharp. We are confident that Bernard Sharp committed this sexual assault and homicide of Ms. McAdams. Investigative genetic genealogy is one of the most valuable tools that law...
You guys crack me up, man. Yes, I can hear you, Dean. Also, don't forget to check out Dean Johnson's OnlyFans page.
Enforcement now has. It is inspirational to...
I wonder if Dandy Linus is mad at me because I haven't seen her here in the chat lately.
See the work to provide answers to the families. And it's motivating as a leader to see the dedication of our IGG team here at FBI Dallas. And I'm honored to lead them in the work that they're doing each and every day. Thank you to the Arlington Police Department, the Tarrant County Medical Examiner's Office, and the Center for Human Identification for your partnership to bring justice for Ms. McAdams.
All right, so that's that. Good news with that, but everybody's probably heard about this one. Anyways, I want to get on to this case here because this is another wacky case. This is the one about the Taco Bell thing here. Hold on a second here. Of all places, a Taco Bell, right? It's a weird thing. So this happened this week too. This was 2 days ago. Police say 2 people are unalive following a pew-pewing at a Taco Bell drive-thru in Stowe. On Wednesday evening, officials tell 3 News the incident is currently being investigated as a MS. It happened just after 7:20 p.m. at the restaurant. So I don't know what happened in this. It's just a weird thing. Let me back this up. There we go. This is the press conference, I think.
People who died after a murder-suicide at a Taco Bell drive-thru line. They ruled 25-year-old Megan Kellerman's death a homicide and 53-year-old Jason Williams' death a suicide.
Stowe police say it appears that Williams got out of his car and killed a woman in her car before turning the gun on himself. We are going to take the press conference live
I mean, it's really starting to get bad when you can't even go to a Taco Bell. It's
now, where police are updating this situation.
And guys, I'm hearing a press conference is going on. We're going to start there.
We're on scene last night, also with our law director, Riley. If you have any questions, we will ask that you ask those at the end.
really, who the hell would say that? That's just, oh, I feel so awful about that, Miranda. That's just terrible. Grieving comes in all shapes and sizes, man. We'll never feel about you that way here. Anybody that's lost a parent, man, knows it's not an easy time. It's and grieving, people expect people just to grieve for a few days and then get over it. But you know, grieving can last for years, man. It's just, it sucks. It's sad. It's awful.
End of this statement. Yesterday at 7:19 p.m., an employee from Taco Bell on Graham Road in Stowe called requesting officers to respond to their location at the request of a female who was in a drive-through line, reporting that her car had just been struck by the vehicle behind her. Officers were dispatched to respond to a private property crash. Moments later, we received several 911 calls reporting a shooting at that same location. Witnesses reported that a male in the drive-through line exited his vehicle, approached the car in front of his, and shot the driver. He then used the gun to kill himself. Both individuals were pronounced dead at the scene. The Summit County Medical Examiner's Office was identified the victim as a victim of a homicide. Her name is Megan Kellerman. She's 25 and she's from the city of Stowe. The deceased shooter was identified as a 53-year-old male. His name is Jason Williams of Cuyahoga Falls. Detectives were able to process both vehicles earlier today and are gathering evidence that we hope may explain the motivation of the shooter. However, that is unknown at this time. We have no information to indicate that the two subjects knew one another. Witnesses told detectives that Williams began blowing his horn on his vehicle at Miss Kellerman when she pulled in front of him in the drive-through line, entering the drive-through line, excuse me.
Look, it's, you know, I give people one or two chances, right? Even in everyday life. Because a lot of times you know an asshole when you see them. You know, you don't even need them to say anything. You just know they're an asshole. But you know, I usually give people a couple of different chances. And if they don't, what do they say? The old saying is you always know your friends when you really need them. You always got friends here, Miranda, for sure.
Williams then struck the rear of her vehicle with his car.
What?
Through the drive-through speaker, Ms. Kellerman asked the Taco Bell employee to call the police department. Moments later, Williams exited his vehicle and shot Ms. Kellerman and then took his own life.
Ugh.
As the chief of police and as a community leader, I would like to say that this is a true tragedy. And not only the Kellermans lost a daughter, but we as a community lost one of our daughters. We are all parents, and we do not at this time have the answer why this happened, and we may never know why. At the family's request, I would like Lieutenant Prusha to read a statement from the family.
In light of recent events, our family is enduring an immensely painful loss of Megan Elizabeth Kellerman, standing for our privacy during this difficult time. We appreciate the community's support and hope that our request for privacy will be honored so that we can continue to focus on supporting each other through this difficult period. Sincerely, the Kellerman family.
As I stated prior to the press conference, we will be sending out a link to all media outlets that will have the original report, that will have 911, the phone calls that we received. We'll have 2 videos from body cameras from the 2 first responding officers, and a copy of the photos of both the victim and the suspect, along with a copy of the statement from the medical examiners. And while we have given you all the information we have at this time, we will entertain any questions.
Don't forget, Farq, if you want a wrench, let me know. You don't have to do anything if you have a wrench, but I feel like you should have a wrench, but just let me know.
Can you just kind of clarify? I know that you said an employee called about accident there at the Taco Bell, and then they must have came there and left, and then got a call to come back for the shooting.
No, ma'am. So while the victim was making her order, attempting to make her order, her vehicle was struck. The employee that could see the victim.
Nothing in the world sometimes gets more heated than a drive-through. I don't know why that is these days, but drive-throughs can be pretty tense, and I don't know why that is. It's just a weird thing, but every time you go through a drive-through, if there's more than 3 or 4 people in line, there's probably going to be an incident.
Said that she was going to have somebody contact the police department.
Question to answer Channel 3. Do you have any priors with Mr. Williams? Was he known to the police at all?
I'm not aware that Mr. Williams, I think, had 1 OVI arrest, a DUI arrest. However, he had no criminal history and limited contact with our department.
Was there ever a third person involved?
I just don't understand how people can get so upset in a drive-through lane. If anybody's ever worked retail, or anybody that's ever worked in that type of an environment, people will get pissed off at the smallest things. It's so weird. It's just, people make mistakes, and these employees are going as fast as they possibly can. For one, they're not getting paid a lot. 2, I don't understand why people get so upset. It's just.
Someone just said that there was a passenger that was in the car.
We have no information that anybody else was involved in this incident.
When will the Taco Bell reopen and is there any support for the employees?
We did have a brief conversation with the administration last night of Taco Bell. They made the decision to close. We did not ask them to close. And it was my understanding they should be opening soon.
Was the suspect under any influence?
We will have that information. We do not have it at this time. I know that the coroner's investigation is pending, and once they will release that to us when it's available.
How many people witnessed the situation?
We've had numerous. Our detectives followed up this morning.
Okay, then you shall have a wrench. No, you don't have to do anything at all. Don't worry about it. Mustang too. If Mustang wants a wrench, let me know. Especially if you want to post channels or post links.
Morning with those that called 911. We were also given other information of people as possible witnesses, and we're still following up those leads. So a direct number I do not have, but it was many.
Next one, I know the coroner's report said that Mr. Williams was from Stowe originally. It's kind of football.
It is. The address where he lives is a Stowe mailing address, but it's in the city of Kiowa.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I was confused. I was on it
from a previous arrest, he was not supposed to have a gun, so
I do not have that information.
Is it normal for BCI to investigate certain incidents like this? I don't think it's there an officer involved in shooting.
Yes, that's a great question. And in a situation like this where we have a homicide, we do not have that many homicides. And in a situation like this, we want to do the best job that we possibly can. And with their added resources, I think, in processing crime, I think that brings and will help us, make the determination of how this happened. And anytime that, yes, if we have an officer involved shooting, we contact BC.
All right, so that's that one there. Let's see, I want to go to this case really quick because this is another one of those cold cases here. Hold on, this is from Florida, I think. Wait a second. So this happened this week too. They pulled a couple of cars out, and this one in particular case was linked to a case from 1974. And this car here, this Impala, was pulled out with this license plate here, and they've been missing for a long time. So here we go. Let me rewind this here.
After a car was pulled out of a canal.
It is linked to a missing persons case, and Local 10's Andrew Perez is live in Plantation with what he's learned. Andrew.
This is just incredible. We're now learning we have a big break in one, possibly even two missing persons cases here in Plantation. I want to go ahead and send you to some video. We just got this into our newsroom. It's from some of the actual dive teams that went down and found these vehicles over the weekend here in Plantation, right off Broward Boulevard. We're right near Nob Hill Road. An organization by the name of Sunshine State Sonar. They conduct volunteer searches regarding missing persons cases and cars all across South Florida. They started retracing steps to a cold case involving a mother and her 3-year-old daughter who disappeared back in 1974. Their car was never found. They were never found. That has all changed. This group based in St. Petersburg took it upon themselves to search the waters and the canals. They came across a different missing person's car, is what they're telling me, a veteran. They say about a block or two away from this location. And then they kept on searching for the car tied to their case. They ultimately found the 19th side. Toys and personal effects were in that car as well. The volunteer dive team went down. They notified Plantation police about this. We spoke to one of the members a short time ago. Take a listen.
I could see something laying on the back seat. It looked like a purse or something like that. I couldn't tell what it was. And I just reached in and grabbed it. And I brought it up. Me and my brother looked at it as it was just bobbing above the vehicle. And we realized the kid's toy. It was a Fisher-Price kid's toy. And I think at that point, me and my brother, it was very emotional because we knew it was almost like it was that little girl's way of saying, "You found me." It was
just sad. 1974, right? It's just.
It's hard for people to understand that, but I don't.
All right, so we are told that next of kin has already been notified, but they're working on dental records right now. They want to confirm everything. So many moving parts to this story right now. These are two different cars and remains underwater for so many years. When you think about it, residents obviously stunned. So many more details we're working on as well. So check in a little bit later on here on Local 10 News. That's the latest here in Plantation, though.
All right, so I have another one here. One second here. Yeah, it's just really sad. No, I think they linked it to a. I think it was a. Hold on a second here. No, I think I played the wrong one again. Hold on a second here. Stop screen. I played that one already. Right here. Did I just play this one?
We are following breaking news in Plantation right now. We're
several bodies were pulled from canals.
Now, Laura Rodriguez is live near one of those canals with what we've learned so far. Laura.
In within the last few minutes, and according to Sunshine State Sonar, this is an organization that's dedicated to finding missing people on the waterways. They are telling me 3 bodies have been recovered from canals. The canal that I am standing at, they have recovered the bodies of 2 people, a woman and a 4-year-old girl. This is a 50-year-old cold case, I am told, and this is near First Street and Plantation and 101st Avenue. And a neighbor nearby shared video with me of the vehicle being recovered. It is an older model vehicle, and you cannot even make out the type of vehicle because of how long it's been in the water. Again, I'm told this is a 50-year-old cold case. The other body was found in a nearby canal, and that is of a man very nearby here, a few blocks away on Wimbledon Drive. And I am told by Sunshine State Sonar that Plantation Police's cold case unit worked on this case tirelessly and asked them for assistance as well to be able to locate these 3 individuals. And today, all 3 bodies have been recovered. Again, 2 of those are a woman and her 4-year-old girl. Moments ago, I spoke to a couple that lives along this canal. They witnessed this entire thing and allowed investigators in through their home to access the canal.
Bedroom is right by the window there, and it's like we've been here 20 years, and it's like we've been sleeping with the 3 dead bodies there for over 20 years and not knowing. Who knows how many more are in there? You know, it's really scary.
And as for this mother and 4-year-old girl, I'm told they were missing in November of 1974, and their family members have not been advised yet that they have been located. So we're not releasing their identities at this time. However, I am told from Sunshine State Sonar that the mother and daughter are from out of state. Again, we will continue to work this story and continue to gather details and have more for you coming up on our later newscast this evening.
I'm pretty sure that the mother and the child are connected to a cold case. That means that it's a, unaliving investigation. I don't know about the other car, the other guy, but I don't think they've released a lot of details on this. I may be wrong. Let me play this one here.
A disturbing discovery in a Plantation canal. The volunteer search team believes to have found the remains of a mother and her daughter who vanished 50 years ago. Take a look at these heartbreaking.
Look at that car. Completely destroyed. Completely.
Pictures. You're going to see here they have pictures of clothes and toys of that 3-year-old. NBC6 reporter Laura Rodriguez is live from Plantation tonight with the latest on this cold case. Laura.
And this investigation was a joint effort.
Yes, I will give you both wrenches very shortly. I don't know if I want to chance this computer thing now. We're trying to open up the YouTube thing. But both of you guys, you and FARQ, will get wrenches for sure.
By Plantation Police, the BSO dive team, and Sunshine State Sonar. And that volunteer search team tells me it was very emotional once they realized a child's remains were in that vehicle.
We had absolutely no doubts 100% at that time who it is that we had just found.
It was this Fisher-Price toy and the taillights of a Chevrolet Impala that led Michael Sullivan to alert Plantation Police Saturday. The volunteer diver and founder of Sunshine State Sonar has been looking for Karen and Doris Wurst in Broward County waterways for a little more than a year.
The vehicle was so brittle. I mean, as soon as we touched it, my finger went right through the metal.
Doris Wurst Canal at a mobile home park. They disappeared in November of 1974 along with Doris's Chevy Impala. On Sunday, the BSO dive team recovered the skeletal remains of an adult and a small child inside an Impala near Broward Boulevard and Nob Hill Road. The child's toys and clothing were all.
Welcome back, Barbara Hall. Miss Barbara Hall, thank you for coming back in. Yes, I believe the mom and daughter were linked to a cold case. like I said, they're being pretty tight-lipped about it. But because I haven't seen anything else in the news about it, but I'm pretty sure that they're claiming that that's a cold case.
Also recovered, almost intact, 50 years later.
Me and my brother just looked at each other, and that was a pretty emotional moment because it was, to us, it was almost like that was Karen. That was Karen saying, "I'm here. You got me."
Sullivan says the meticulous work by BSO divers was nothing short of miraculous. According to the volunteer diver, all of the windows were rolled up in the vehicle, leading to the recovery of the remains and so many items.
You know, if those windows were down, who knows? You know, who knows what would have happened? You know, their bodies could have floated out of the vehicle.
Hours after the discovery of the adult and child, the volunteer team also found a Buick submerged in a nearby lake with the remains of an 83-year-old man who was reported missing.
Yeah, they must have gotten some sort of a tip. That's because I don't even know if they've released the names yet. So
in 2004.
When you bring close to a family like this, it motivates you definitely to keep going.
Plantation Police tells me they're waiting on DNA and dental records to verify that these are the identities of Karen and Doris Worse. They say, though, that they have contacted their family members, letting them know that there's a likelihood that their remains have been found. Reporting live in Plantation, I'm Laura Rodriguez, NBC 6 News.
All right, I do want to play this too. Hold on a second. I'm going to play this one here. This is the Alexander guy that was arrested. I think this was last week. I wanted to cover this last week, but this is Warren Luther Alexander, been charged with the unaliving of Kimberly Carol Fritz, 18, Velvet Ann Sanchez, 31, and Lorraine Ann Rodriguez, 21. This happened in around 1977. So let's play this here.
Marenco, the Ventura County transported Warren Luther Alexander, age 73, of Diamond Head, Mississippi, to an extradition. Signed by Governor Roy Cooper of North Carolina. Once in South Carolina, Mr. Alexander was arrested at the time of the extradition. He was in custody in North Carolina for the charge of murder when we sought in Ventura County his extradition to our county to stand trial for the September 8th murder in the city of Oxnard of Velvet Sanchez, for the December 27th, 1977 murder of Lorraine Rodriguez in unincorporated processed. We identified a third victim connected to Warren Luther Alexander, Kimberly Fritz, murdered. These murders may have occurred 47 years ago, but the investigators with the Ventura County DA's office, the investigators with the Ventura County Sheriff's Department Cold Case Unit, and officers and detectives with Port Hueneme and Oxnard never gave up. They never gave up seeking justice for these 3 victims, their loved ones, and their families. Just because a case has gone cold does not mean it should ever be forgotten. And while we cannot bring back Kimberly, Velvet, and Lorraine, we can make sure that the person accused of these horrific crimes faces in Ventura County the full weight and force of the law. For Warren Luther Alexander, once a fugitive from justice, the day of reckoning in Ventura County has finally arrived. Ventura County Sheriff James Fryhoff, Oxnard Police Chief Jason Benitez, Port Hueneme Police Chief Michael Federico will now give remarks. At the conclusion of their remarks, I will step forward one more time to deliver some closing statements. We ask that you hold all your questions until the conclusion.
It's so strange because there's so many things that happen behind the scenes here that are just flat out crazy, right? Like all of a sudden it just started pouring out. So I'm kind of dodging raindrops at the same time here. You guys are all awesome, though.
Of the news conference.
I'm usually in the summertime, I'm usually on my porch doing these things. So I'm kind of subjected to the elements of the outside, but I'd rather be outside than inside. So, but it is all of a sudden pouring out.
Good morning. On December 27, 1977, shortly after 6 in the morning, deputies from the Ventura County Sheriff's Office were dispatched to a call of a female found on the bridge at Laguna Road in the Oxnard Plains area. Autopsy determined her death was caused by strangulation. Evidence which would later be used for DNA analysis was collected. Investigators from the Sheriff's Office investigated this case until all leads were exhausted and the case became cold. Lorraine Rodriguez was just 21 years old at the time of her death. She was born in Kansas. Her family moved to Oxnard. She attended the Port Hueneme High School. Lorraine had a son, daughter. Lorraine is survived by her mother, one sister, her daughter, and 3 brothers. Lorraine's daughter was just 3 years old at the time of her death. Her family described Lorraine as a loving and devoted mother who loved spending time with her family. Ventura County law enforcement has used advancements in DNA technology to re-examine unsolved cases. Due to significant advancements in science and technology, forensic biological evidence can now be analyzed with greater.
Yeah, I'm under I'm under an umbrella, but it's. I knew it was going to rain too. It's so funny. Another shit show here.
Accuracy, sensitivity, and efficiency. The Ventura County Cold Case Homicide Unit, operated under the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, is a dedicated team of detectives committed to investigating unsolved homicide cases and identifying previously unidentified human remains. The unit consists of a team of 3 full-time sheriffs, sworn detectives, 2 part-time non-sworn investigators, 2 part-time district attorney investigators, a full-time investigative assistant, and a full-time sheriff's office forensic scientist. This unit works collaboratively to review evidence, utilizing advances in DNA technology and implementing innovative forensic techniques, while also partnering with outside agencies to bring closure to cold cases. To run a cold case unit does cost money. I'd like to personally thank U.S. Representative Julia Brownlee through the fiscal year 2022 Consolidated Appropriations Act for providing our cold case unit with a $950,000 check to support the investigation of backlogged violent crime and sexual assault cases using modern DNA technology. And a little success leading to several high-profile case arrests, including the cases of Rachel Zendejas, Lisa Gondek of 1981, Monica Leach from 1997, and a series of strangulation murders now from 1977. I'd like to now call up Oxnard Police Chief Jason Benitez.
Thank you, Sheriff Freihoff. Morning. On September 8th, 1977, 31-year-old Velvet Sanchez lived at the V Bar. On this day, a witness saw her go Oxnard police responded, and officers found that Sanchez had a ligature tied around her neck. Investigators collected DNA samples from the crime scene, and the autopsy later revealed that she died of strangulation. Velvet was born in Amarillo, Texas. She had left her job at the Navy Exchange just shortly before the time of her death. She was married at the time but was separated. She had 3 children, only one of which is surviving today. She is also survived by her sister. These murder cases have literally spanned generations, through generations of detectives. Many of the detectives and officers that initially responded to these cases are either long since retired or some have passed on. I'd like to thank the investigators from the District Attorney's Office, detectives and crime lab technicians from the Ventura County Sheriff's Office, detectives from and staff from the Port Hueneme Police Department, and of course our own detectives from the Oxnard Police Department and our crime scene technicians. This county team of law enforcement agencies has worked over the last 47 years to keep these cases alive and to reach this important day and to bring justice to our victims. Thank you for persisting and never giving up. And now I'll turn this over to Port Hueneme Chief Mike Federico.
No. No, I don't think I have memberships yet. I probably never will. That's so funny. But thank you for asking. Yeah, this is sad. This is all what I like about this press conference is they at least have some of the names and some of the people up here, the victims, on a board here. Because a lot of times they do these press conferences and you can't see the victims. I think that's just so. But I'm pretty sure that they all do. It's just when it's for the camera, they kind of, block these out. But they should have, in every one of these press conferences, they should have the victims' faces.
On May 29th, 1977, the Port Hueneme Police Department responded to a call at the Marvin. The Marvin was located on Hueneme Road, a short distance away. An autopsy revealed her death was
the lagging is this video here. It's that isn't me, but this is Marv Ern. This is the Kimberly here. That's the victim, one of the victims that was found inside this. I believe this is a hotel room here.
Result of strangulation. At the scene, DNA was evidence was recovered from both the scene and the victim. The time of her death. She was born in Michigan. She attended school in Ann Arbor and she was one of 3 sisters. Today, she is survived by her father and one of her sisters.
Ugh.
A lot has changed in Ventura County since the deaths of Kimberly Fritz, Velvet Sanchez, and Lorraine Rodriguez.
You can't, you know, it's just sad. These things are just horribly sad. It just, especially cases like this, 1977. It's just, you never know what could have happened, you know, to these people. It's just sad.
But what hasn't changed is our commitment to provide justice for the victims and their families. We hope that this arrest is a step towards accountability and a step towards closure for the families. With that, I would like to turn this over to our Ventura County District Attorney, Eric Nazarenko.
In 1977, detectives working these 3 cases did note.
The sad thing is this guy would probably take a plea bargain and, you know, get off scot-free almost. Like, it's just sad, but, you know, that's kind of the way they do these things. But look at these 3, you know, kids, really. You know, it just sucks. It's sad.
Noticed that there were patterns, similarities, and common features among the crimes that led them to believe.
Well, the rain has stopped.
That it was at the hands of the same suspect. Specifically, all 3 victims were commercial sex workers, a vocation that subjected them to violence, trafficking, as well as extreme exploitation. All 3 victims were known to frequent the Plaza Marina.
Yeah, in my opinion, you know, there's just no such thing as a horrible punishment for this guy. You know, there's just, you know, it just sucks. You know, you just want to do so much to this guy. You know, unaliving 3 people and who knows how many more. You know, it's just, there isn't a good enough punishment for him. There just isn't.
In South Oxnard and nearby motels. This was a center at the time in the 1970s and 1980s of.
But you know, he'll probably get, you know, jail, prison time. You know, 3 square meals a day, medical. Just it sucks. It's just an awful thing. It's just terrible.
Commercial sex traffic. Furthermore, all 3 had died through ligature strangulation. While believing these 3 crimes were indeed connected.
That's why I don't give a shit. You know, it's I don't care who does it, as long as they catch who did it. I don't care. I don't care if these people go through the worst possible time of their life. You know, the perpetrators. Just like the Delphi case. I don't care who's guilty. Whoever's guilty needs to face, you know, the most horrible punishment you could ever face as a human being. I mean, those poor kids, like, it's just, you know, it makes you angry. You know, it makes you angry with all the back and forth with all of this stuff. You know, it's, you know, somebody did it, right? So I got to stop. These people didn't deserve this. Those 2 kids didn't deserve what they got. It's just, you know, those people just don't need to be in society, period.
Leads ran cold, and detectives were unable to identify who was responsible for these horrific murders. The investigation was exhausted and went on for decades. In fact, in 2006, detectives with the cold case unit on behalf of the Ventura County Sheriff's Department uploaded into CODIS, which is the Combined DNA Index System, a nationwide database of DNA profile.
See, people forget that, years and years ago, especially back in the 70s and 80s, they didn't have, not just the forensic science. They didn't have a way to, like, you could commit a crime in one state, move to another state, and live in that state forever. I mean, there was no real communications between, law enforcement agencies, especially like it is now. Like, you have a nationwide database, international wide database, and these you enter it into CODIS, and if you get a hit, you get a hit. Back in those days, even if you had fingerprints or something, they didn't have a nationwide fingerprint database. So it's not just the science itself; it's the ability for these law enforcement agencies to communicate with each other, because that's a big thing these days too. I mean, look at Bundy. Bundy went all the way down to Florida and unalived a whole bunch of people. They didn't even know it was him. Because I remember them interviewing one of the cops down there, and he's like, "We didn't even know about Ted Bundy. It's not." And he said that it can't be him. What is he doing here? I mean, there was no. It's not like it is now, where there's this massive cooperation between law enforcement agencies. It wasn't like that back then.
From convicted offenders, crime scenes, as well as missing persons, forensic evidence from the 1977 murders.
I think one of the law enforcement agency called the guy down in Florida and said, it seems like this might be connected to Ted Bundy. And the guy says, "No, you're kidding me. It's not. It was."
However, there was no match. Last year in 2023, however, a breakthrough emerged. Once again, detectives with the cold case unit on behalf of the Ventura County Sheriff's Department uploaded.
Plus, you didn't have, when did they start, chronologically the DNA, years ago, they didn't even enter DNA or any of that stuff into anything. So I think back then they went by blood type, but they just started uploading this stuff to computers, I think 25 years ago, maybe. So everybody before that, their prints probably wouldn't be, or their samples probably wouldn't be in a system. So, nowadays you get convicted of a felony, it's an automatic, I think.
Crucial DNA evidence into that nationwide DNA database. And in this case, a match occurred, specifically a match to Warren Luther Alexander. In 2022, as I mentioned, Mr. Alexander was arrested in North Carolina. In that case, he was identified through investigative genetic genealogy, and a DNA profile emerged. It is the matching of our evidence against the North Carolina one that led us here today.
That's so freaking awesome. It's just so awesome, though. Just so, it gives you hope.
The 1992 murder in North Carolina occurred also through strangulation. The victim in that case was 29-year-old Nona Cobb, whose body was left alongside Interstate 77. We all here, on behalf of the Ventura County law enforcement community, want to thank they were the primary prosecutorial. They filed the first murder charge. Nevertheless, they understood that time was not on Ventura County.
All right,
to go.
I'm going to pause this here, and then I'm going to go to this last case here, and then get out of here for the night. Hold on a second here. Yeah, it's awesome when they get these guys, because these guys think that they're, you know, scot-free. But they're not. All right, so this is the verdict on the woman who was found guilty of unaliving the neighbor there through the door here. I forget her name here, but I've been following this. Susan Lawrence manslaughter trial. I can't believe they only got her on manslaughter. It's just weird. Jury has found Florida woman Susan Lawrence guilty of manslaughter for unaliving her neighbor AJ Owens. And we'll play this one here. This is coming from Fox News out of Orlando. Another one of these senseless unalivings. It's just people are crazy.
Bench, so let's listen into the verdict.
I'm going to read the jurors their instructions upon discharge, which gives the jurors their rights. I hope everyone will respect that, and remind everybody to keep the same calm demeanor we've had the whole trial. Again, I appreciate it. The jurors will pass a note to the bailiff and to me. The clerk ultimately will publish the verdict. If either side wants the jurors polled, again, we will poll them by number. Okay, and they have their numbers. Let's bring them in.
You guys are all awesome. I really appreciate you guys for coming in. Really do. Yes, I'm very sorry. I don't have the ticker running because normally if I was on my other computer, I'd have the ticker up and running for Timothy Dees and Justice for Flora and all of the other cases that have been unsolved. But this computer sucks so bad, I don't even want to try to put that up there because it'll just, you know, be even more laggy. But I apologize for that. Always thinking about Timothy Dees, Miss Barbara Hall, the entire Tate family. You know, get justice soon for that case for sure. But I do apologize for the ticker not going.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yeah. John, it's my understanding you have reached a verdict in this case. Is that correct?
I mean, I can't possibly imagine what it's like to walk in Miss Barbara Hall's shoes every day. I mean, it's just absolutely got to be horrible. It's just you want to do more. You want to do as much as you can possibly do. So the only thing I can do and we can do is, you know, content creators is keep the information out there. You know, keep whacking at it. You know, just making sure that people get held responsible for these things. It's just the best you can do. But we're always thinking about Miss Barbara Hall and anybody else who's walking in those shoes every day. It's got to suck.
What I'm going to read to you is the last instruction. This regards time and consideration of this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room, except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration.
I literally think about those girls every single day of my life. And not just them, anybody that's been a victim. That's the reason why I'm here, is for all of the cases, including kids, domestic abuse, stuff like that. That's why I'm here, literally. So the Florida 4 girls are constantly, you're hoping some movement in that case happens. You're just hoping. Just
consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide.
Well, when you got people like Southern Gal, Mr. Steve, the think tank, all these people that Kathy from the floor case, you're in good hands because these people will not let it go at all. So you're in good hands.
Whether it will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. Can you please hand the verdict to the bailiff, please? And have the clerk read the verdict.
Verdict as to count one. We, the jury, find as to count one of the charge. The defendant is guilty of manslaughter. Did the state prove beyond a reasonable doubt that during the commission of the offense, the defendant personally used a firearm? Yes. So say we all, dated the 16th day of August, 2024.
Does either side wish to poll the jurors to be polled?
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, please poll the jurors by number only.
Juror number one, is this your verdict? Juror number two, is this your verdict?
Look at these people. You know, it's just, you literally just want to reach through the computer and give them a big hug. You know, it just sucks. I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. These trials here, they're not good. They're just not good. Even if you get what you want out of it, you know, a guilty verdict, it still doesn't bring the people back. You know, it just sucks.
Yes. Juror number three, is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror number four, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror number five, is this your verdict? Yes. Juror.
I was always a big fan of Superfly Snooker. That's just me.
Number six, is this your verdict?
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you can go back to the jury room, please wait there and I'll discharge you in a few moments, okay? Here we go. Also here.
Dean's freaking awesome, man. You're awesome, buddy. You always got to put that plug in there for your OnlyFans page. It's freaking classic.
There's the last one. Oh, wait, I don't think I dated that. Let me do that one back. Ms. Lawrence, the jury has found that you're guilty of manslaughter with a firearm, guilty of that offense. I assume that sentencing will be at a later date. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Are you requesting a pre-sentence investigation?
Yes, sir.
What I'm going to do is have the Department of Corrections prepare a pre-sentence.
Yeah, there's just too many cases for sure. I could literally do a live every day for the rest of my life. But just the cases that happened this week. I mean, it's amazing.
Sentence investigation. I'll continue this case. I'll put it all the way to the November docket, although I expect us to be sentenced long before that.
You hear it all the time when these cases are done. You know, you hear the families always saying there's no winners in these cases, and they're right. There's just, I mean, there's some sort of vindication maybe, but There's very few winners in these cases here. Nobody wins.
That. I'm just putting us far enough away to get everything done. So when we get the PSI done, then please contact my office. We'll set a sentencing. Ms. Lawrence, you're going to be held in custody of the Marion County Jail without bond until that time, okay? Thank you and good luck to you.
Thank you, Judge. May we be excused?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, she's going away for a couple of years, manslaughter. I don't know what that's like 5-10 years. She'll probably get 5, maybe the most 5, 6, 7. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to get the hell out of here. First of all, I want to apologize for all the problems tonight with the computer and the rain and all of the other shit. But I do want to thank everybody for coming in. I want to thank people who are on the replay because I know a lot of people watch the replay. I'll give wrenches to Mustang and FARQ as soon as I get out of here. But I want to thank FARQ for coming in. Everybody, Dean Johnson. Dean, you're awesome. Charlotte, you're great. Always good to have Charlotte here. Mustang 1965, thank you for coming in. Heather Brown, you're awesome. Thank you as always. Heather Brown is great. Barbara Hall, we're thinking about you all the time. Justice for your son, for sure. Who else was in here? Honeybee was in here. I know that. I always forget her. Let's see here. This could take me forever. FARQ, did I mention FARQ already? FARQ is awesome. I'll get you a wrench here. Who else? I know that Lighting Their Way Home was in here. She's got a great channel. She's probably sleeping. If I forget anybody, I'm sorry. Miranda Lee was in here. Miranda Lee's awesome. Karen Lee was in here. Karen Lee's great. She's probably over on Animals Chat. Who else was in here? I really do appreciate everybody for coming in. Wonder where Necessarily Evil is. Hope he's okay. Let's see who else. I'm trying to scroll up here to the top. I always like to thank people for coming in. But if you can go on support Southern Gal, the Think Tank, all these other great creators, and Heather Brown, I can't wait for your channel. It's a great name. Who else was in here? I think that's it. I'm probably missing a whole bunch of people. But I want everybody to have a good week, good rest of the weekend. Summer's coming to a close here pretty soon, which is horrible. Gail was in here. Gail Hurd is awesome. All right, I think that's it. I think I'm going to get out. Honeybee was in here. Honeybee's awesome. Her channel is just fantastic. All right, that's it. You guys all have a great weekend. I'm going to play an outro. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry. Just chalk it up to a senior moment. We'll see you guys later. Stay safe, everybody, and have a good weekend. All of that happy horse shit. Let's play this here and get out of here. Play that one. Good night, guys. Thank you.